startup acts are very important in a country that's trying to grow high impact, high growth entrepreneurship. We feel that we have to have a clear guide that talks to the mission, that talks to what does success look like, and what role does each and every stakeholder play. So the Startup Act is really going to help us drive, make South Africa great again. It's going to make us investment ready, investable. We're going to be able to attract the necessary talent, the necessary investments. We're also going to try create enabling inclusive environments, because young guys and girls from township environments need to also buy into this because they feel like they're part of it. Technology tends to be exclusive for the select few. So having a piece of legislation that talks to this is for the country, and if you have to look at entrepreneurship, it's a one thing that could get this country on the right trajectory in terms of economic growth. So how do we feed the lion that should be able to just enable economic activity in our country? And I think government needs to start focusing on that. I know we have a lot of problems as a country, but it is very important that we focus on the things that could actually bring in economic growth. The one thing we're trying to negate from is having a top-bottom approach. So if we're saying we are the voice of the entrepreneurs, we have to listen to what they say. We have to listen to what their challenges are, and we have to weave it into what we're trying to develop with the Startup Act. So there has to be a lot of engagement with the founders that we're trying to find a solution for. So how to get involved is be part of the solution. Have that voice. Take the time to be part of a focus group. Take the time to give inputs when now we have a draft act or when we're putting together the manifesto of the Startup Act. Get involved, because if it's worth your while, you should have a vested interest. Your voice should be heard. As much as we feel that we're doing all these great things for startups, sometimes they actually are the ones that don't necessarily get involved, and that's how we end up having a top-bottom approach where we think this is the challenges, but actually those are not the challenges, and that's why their voices have to be heard. Well, I think for anybody to take us seriously, we have to take ourselves seriously, right? We have to stop acting and performing and behaving in silos. We have to stop trying to build empires. We have to stop trying to build ecosystems that support us, ecosystem people, instead of the actual founders and entrepreneurs. We have to act as a collective. We have to collaborate. And I kind of roll my eyes a little bit because we're constantly talking about collaboration, but it's one of the most difficult things that doesn't happen because people are always safeguarding their interests. It's a small pot of funding that is available for the work that we do, and everybody's always trying to hoard it. So how do we start having conversations around what does collaboration mean? I think the purpose of this particular weekend is, guys, we talk about collaboration, but what does it mean? And a year from now, when we come back here next year, did we collaborate? Because it's the one thing that you said, we're going to collaborate more. So today it was a whole lot of just conversations, discussions, and I think tomorrow, as we wrap up, is let's identify areas of where we want to work towards. Collaboration is one of them. A lot of us are here, but now on Monday when I send an email around, how do you get involved on the Startup Act? This is what we need you for. Ignored. So let's be clear on what does collaboration mean? What does working together towards a common cause mean? I think that's something that we'll clearly define. And a year from now, hopefully we'll be able to say the Digital Africa Collective was able to allow SiMODiSA and its community of entrepreneurs to utilize some of the resources that they have because we have formed a collaboration. So we have to be very tactical in what we want to do and how we're going to do it and what success looks like. And also it's very, very important for us to be organized, because if we want to see an act in South Africa and sell it to the government and say, we've come together, we've clearly identified our areas of challenges, we've identified areas that you as a government have done well and you as a government have not been able to do well, this is how we want to work with you. We have to be able to organize ourselves and come as a unit. Otherwise, it's just going to be, it has to be the power of the collective. Otherwise, it's too much noise from too many people. So that's why it's important that everybody's on the same page about this. It's been done in Senegal, it's been done in Tunisia. Rwanda and Kenya are, literally close to passing their Startup Act. I'm sad as South Africa that we're the fifth to come to the party, because we should be the first. So once we've passed the Startup Act, because we're going to get it passed, success for us would be how do we ensure that we are nurturing high impact, high growth startups from South Africa that are globally relevant. We're able to attract the necessary investments, and it's not a hassle for them to bring in their investments. We are able to fund our own investments in South Africa because it's very difficult. There's limited capital, and how do we ensure that that pot gets bigger? And also inclusivity. It's very, very important that a guy from a disadvantaged background, or not even disadvantaged, but not having great social capital, is able to feel that I can access this because I have a great idea. I have a great business that is pre-revenue or post-revenue, and I need some cash that's going to enable me. We have to be able to know that the labor laws are going to favor startup businesses, right? Because right now, you could be the head of a big organization and a big bank. The same way you treat it in terms of labor laws is the same way as a small business I'm treated. And as a small business, I wear the marketing hat, the HR hat, the funding hat, all the hats, and now I still have to deal with CCMA. And so I think we need to just take it easy on the startups. And also I think in terms of tax reforms, we shouldn't tax our businesses until they actually have something to be taxed. So the minute I register a business, I have to fill in my returns with the CIPC, it's money. I have to fill in my returns with SARS. The minute I hit a R1 million, sale, I have to register for VAT, and on every second month I have to fill in my VAT return. So all of that admin, all of that red tape, we really need to remove it, make it easy for them to make money. And as a small business myself, as much as I run SiMODiSA, I'm also a startup, and having to deal with VAT, having to deal with SARS, I feel like there are bigger crooks out there that they should be running after instead of like harassing me and giving me penalties. I mean, daily penalties are 10%. And you can see I'm trying to do my best. I actually have been paying you. I just missed it by one day, and I'm now having to pay 10% off. So all of those things have to just be cleaned up and make it easy for us to want to give you our money in South Africa. And I think has to get to a point where now, if we want to grow the economy, we need to start investing in areas and environments that will grow the economy, like high growth, high impact entrepreneurs in our country.